Welcome back to another love inspection, guys. My ex-wife cheated on me 6 years ago. Screamed, "I paid for it" at our daughter on her way out last night, and I'm finally free. Well, that's a roller coaster. If you want to hear about what happens in the end, and also about updates to past stories that we've inspected, don't forget to subscribe. Uh, I need to put this somewhere, Reddit. Do whatever you do, call me an a-hole, tell me I did the right thing, I just need to be heard. No worries, we got you. Okay, we got you, and we're going to lock in, we're going to be focused only on you right now. So, I met my ex when we were both 27, lived together a year, got married, were together about 10 years total. Well, that's a pretty long time. I'll say upfront, I'm not a sexual person. Okay, okay, got it. Never really have been. I don't think about it unless someone makes me think about it. It's not something I'm doing on purpose, it's just how I'm wired. And we totally get you. I mean, it's normal, sexuality is a spectrum, and the thing is, there are people, maybe not so many, but there are people that don't find attraction through simply through sexuality, and there are multiple factors that influence someone's libido, such as high levels of stress, um, uh, things about the environment, and maybe medication if it applies, and so on. So it's if you would expect that someone who has been for such a long time together with you would respect you enough to at least have a honest talk about things, not go out of their way to cheat, because we know from the title what what to expect. So during the pandemic, I was unemployed, stressed, sex slowed down. To be fair to her, she did let me know she wasn't happy about it, but the way it came out was through argument. Through arguments? And now I'm imagining that, those television couples where they have a fight and they suddenly just have this attraction and tension between them, and then they start having sex from out of the blue. And I'm always thinking that that is so not realistic, because when you're angry with each other, the last thing you really want to do is have sex. I mean that, or maybe it applies to some other people. We shouldn't judge that hard, but it's an unhealthy coping mechanism towards conflict. I mean, using sex to resolve problems. Um, in any case, uh, basically, he's saying that she provoked big arguments, and that usually ended with me having sex didn't really want to have. Well, that is a problem, and it's a problem on your end, really. Uh, you're not the a-hole for, not being as sexual as your partner might want you to have been, but you are kind of the a-hole to yourself for not setting boundaries when they needed to be set. I mean, in that moment, you should have talked to her, told her, no, I don't want to do this. I don't feel like doing this because this is happening and I have other priorities and whatever. Um, so submission six. Well, that's a new one. That's something I haven't heard uh, in quite some time, basically. So no, it's not like she suffered in silence and I missed all the signs. The signs were screaming at me. I just wasn't meeting them with desire. I was meeting them with surrender. Well, you seem like a poetic person. Hmm. So maybe you should explore that side of yourself. That that could give you, growth opportunity. Just mentioning here. Apparently, that wasn't enough. She decided I thought she was unattractive, and instead of bringing it up calmly, she went and slept with someone else. A woman, actually. What? A woman? Oh, okay. I mean, unexpected, but all right. It does. It's so. Uh, uh, the problem is not that she slept with a woman. The problem is that she slept with someone else and disrespected you. So, oh, someone you knew. Okay, that's even worse. I mean, it's one thing to have something completely separated from your relationship. It's another thing to involve a friend or someone that you mutually knew. That's messy. Messy girl. Here's the part that still wrecks me. If she had come to me and said she wanted to be with someone else, I would have been 100% okay with it. I'm not a jealous, possessive guy. I don't guard people. She didn't even have to lie. All she had to do was talk to me without it being a fight. Instead, she gave you an honesty. No way. No way in hell that she gave you honesty, guys. Okay, this is why we do STD panels, and we run all these tests every time, because this can happen. Okay, and unfortunately people are so negligent nowadays. I mean, there are tons of people that do not use protection when having sex, and not even that, but just it's a good practice to regularly test yourself for different things, because you don't know where you might get something. You might get something from the fucking toilet seat. So I am so sorry. That has to be like to me, as someone who is clean, doesn't have anything. It would be devastating to find out that I have something is because of someone that I've trusted and trusted for such a long time. And to find out about an affair that way, it's the worst way. Why? I'll tell you why. Why do people do this? You might ask. Why would people hide and do the sneaky thing and doing things like that? It's because uh, they want something from you. And maybe they're the type of person that they feel like, because you've been together for so long, and because you didn't establish boundaries with them, and you haven't been on very clear on your position, on where you stand in the relationship. um Maybe she just took things a step further because she could. And the thing is, we always say, well, it cannot happen to me. And what do they do if it happens to me? Well, it can happen to anyone, and it can happen at any point in time. And the truth is, we do not have to stop trusting people, or stop trusting that people could love us. And that's an advice that I would give you. Do not stop trusting people. Just work with the reality that you have at the current time. At the current time, you work with the reality that a person made a choice, a conscious choice, actually multiple choices if we think about it, to disrespect you. And it started way before the actual cheating. It started when they would pick fights with you just to have sex, even though they knew that you didn't want it. And not caring about the underlying feelings that actually prompted you to behave a certain way, or not to be in the mood for sexual activities and so on. That's how I found out I'd been 100% faithful. I went to the clinic, got the results, came home and confronted her. She confessed. Well, at least she didn't gaslight you into, trying to think that it's all in your head and maybe you're the one that cheated or whatever, because there's also that alternative. There's always, there always could be worse things happening. I tried to leave that night. She threw herself in front of the car. Mm, when I when I thought this couldn't get worse, it just got worse. She threw herself in front of a car so you would not leave. Just how unhinged do you have to be in order to behave like this? What was the purpose? I kindly ask that person, that woman, what was she trying to accomplish by throwing herself onto the car? Or did she think that you're going to stay? And that's, I mean, it shouldn't surprise us because she broke multiple boundaries that shouldn't have been broken just because she could. So one more isn't that big of a surprise, is it? Yanked the door open while I was trying to pull away, screamed at me not to leave, basically daring me to hurt her with the car so I'd have to stop. It worked. I gave up trying to. No, you shouldn't have. Okay, you should have called the cops and told the whole story, and that she doesn't want to leave you alone or whatever, and maybe even get a restraining order, because I mean that's some psychopathic unhinged behavior that we do not want. Okay, we do not want this energy around us. I never got to confront the woman she cheated with. Okay, she died. What? She died days later in a seizure-related accident. Oh my God. Oh wow. Whatever I need to say or hear from her got buried with her. Oh, this is a thing that we should discuss. It's one thing to be able to get that closure, because usually people after some traumatizing incidents, let's say, they try to seek closure with the people involved, and they try to basically figure out a story that makes sense to them, and in order to do that, usually you have to make your way towards a conversation with the person that cheated, the person that cheated with in this scenario, um if because they were a close friend. And but to go, this is a lot to go through, the death of a friend, the friend that your wife cheated with, and also the wife cheating, and an STD. It's almost it's honestly almost as if it's a made up story, but I assure you that it isn't, because this story is taken from through of my chest, so it's definitely a person's confession. And I'm so sorry that you didn't get your closure, but the truth is there is life, even life moves on even without closure. Okay? And most of us seek closure because we want that story to make sense so much in the moment that we are willing to, do anything in order to get that story. But the truth is, we do not need the story in order to move on. We need a purpose, and the purpose is we'll find it always within ourselves. Okay. um a few weeks later, I had to go back to the clinic. I made my ex come with me. The doctor said we both needed treatment again. She swore she hadn't stepped out a second time. The doctor did his best to convince me sometimes infections need multiple rounds, and that's true from my knowledge as well. Maybe he was right, maybe he was being kind. I'll never actually know. Then came years of me trying to get her out of my life. She wouldn't sign the divorce paper. Not, again, not surprising, but just get a grip, woman. I mean, take the loss already. Why would you try to, make someone stay so you could both be miserable together, instead of, letting go of the relationship and finally moving on with other people that value the same principles, maybe, and are compatible. Uh, so I lied. My parents pretty much hated her after the infidelity, and my mom had been hinting that if I wasn't with her anymore, she'd help me get a new vehicle. My credit is wrecked, that's a whole other story. So I told my ex that if we got divorced, my mom would help me get a new car so I could get her to work and the kids where they needed to go. That was never actually going to happen. That car was for me. Well, see, this is a little bit the whole, because You're setting up some expectations, more so regarding to your kids, and maybe she might plan ahead, and plan with her kids to depend on you getting that car. And mm, not good. Okay, not how you should have handled this. If she would not sign divorce papers or whatever, you should appeal to the authorities. I mean, uh, I'm pretty sure that someone cannot go, for years without having to actually sign. Maybe there is a way to, expedite this process, but no, I mean, involving your kids and uh, you know kind of putting them in the middle of um, this fight, this divorce. It's not a good idea. That was never actually going to happen. The car was for me. She signed. When the court date came in the mail, I forgot to mention it. Divorced March 2025. Yeah, I tricked her. Judge me if you want after watching. Look, we are not judging you. I mean, she was unhinged enough to try to have you run her over with your car in order for you to stay with her. I mean, that's some crazy shit. So, after what she did and the car stand the night I tried to leave, I was out of clean options. Yeah, yeah, I get you. I'm going to say that is not the best solution, but in this scenario, probably it was the most efficient one. Even after the divorce, we kept living together, almost 14 more months. The house is mine, the kids are hers from a previous relationship, 19 and 16, raised them as my own, and I was terrified that if she left, the kids would follow her out the door and end up homeless in her car. Okay, they've been homeless before with her. Okay, oh wow, okay. So she really isn't, the like she really isn't a model figure in no no field here. I mean, not a model spouse, not a model uh, lover, not a model parent. Okay. Years ago, we lost string of rent houses because of our drug addictions. Okay. Wow. I got her clean by moving us to the Oklahoma Panhandle for 6 months, where she didn't know a soul, while I worked at a pork plant and she went through this in our hotel room. So my kids know exactly what being homeless looks like. They didn't want to relive it. Oh my God, that I'm so sorry to hear that, and I'm so sorry to hear that your children were subjected to that. Uh, because I assume that they were pretty young when that happened, and it seems like you've been the supportive parent, and the parent that took on more responsibilities than you should have. I mean, children are generally a shared responsibility, and it feels like she didn't really want to live responsibly. Okay, because if she would have wanted to make a change about her addictions or whatever, she would have made it by herself. She wouldn't have required you to, you know, uh, move in order for her to start over, start fresh, you know. And it's a nice thing that you did, and I'm hoping that you don't dim your light because of other people's darkness. Okay, and in this case your ex's darkness, and I hope that you're going to also be able to have a relationship with the kids. I'm not sure who are the kids going to be with. I mean, after the divorce, did you? How is this going to happen? Are you going to have the kids for certain days, or I don't know, the court rule for custody in your favor or her favor? I mean, she It's saying that the kids are with her. I think the kids are hers. Well, I mean, hers from a previous relationship. Let's see. Maybe it's going to say later. Last night was the end. Huge fight. I don't want. I don't even remember what it was about. There was a tornado warning, pouring rain. I told her to get out, and I meant it. I didn't care anymore, and yeah, Reddit, I know how that sounds. I told the woman to leave during a she was that damn tornado. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm being mean, but she really was. I mean, who even goes in front of the car to just uh, keep someone trapped? For fuck's sake. I think she kind of deserved it. Mm, mm. I don't care anymore. Okay, I told the woman to leave during a tornado warning. I'm telling you the whole truth, not the clean version. She packed her stuff and left. On her way out, she was screaming at her 19-year-old daughter, yes, I cheated, but I paid for it. It was 6 years ago. Okay, now we get the context about what it means that she paid for it. It was 6 years ago. That's how she sees it. 6 years ago, paid for it, case closed. Okay, let's unpack this because people that do this, have a tendency of minimizing the mistake. Well, this is not even a mistake because it's a choice. So minimizing the fact itself, Uh, but there is another truth. If you wanted to make things work with your current partner, especially, like raising the kids and whatever, having shared custody, you'd need to be able to, um, have a decent relationship with the mother. Okay. And in order to do that, you have to kind of get past the grievances of the relationship, get past, be, kind of leave it in the past, because the truth is it's been quite a few years, and I know that the hurt doesn't just magically go away. I know that feelings are maybe relieved just by small triggers. Maybe small triggers will just trigger something in you that would prompt you to relive that experience. Also, because you got, an STD at that point, maybe your health was affected as well. So there are a lot of factors that were affected. I know and I understand that, and I empathize with you in that regard. But I think that if you wanted to make things work with with your partner, or at least livable or whatever for the children, you would need to do that in from a point where you are okay with what happened and you don't care about the relationship itself, you know um but you care about the children, and you care about them being safe, and not go on the streets or whatever. She packed her stuff and left. On her way out, okay. I already read this. Not Andre being here like, oh my god, let's read again what I already read 5 or 10 seconds ago. um, okay. Um, I don't know how she thinks she paid for it unless it was just enduring my anger. And yeah, I have anger. The kids have seen me hit wall. Okay, that mm-mm, mm-mm. Sorry, that is not okay. Uh, it's not okay for your children. It's not okay for that for that person. Uh, Again, I'm stressing this. No matter her actions, her actions do not define who you are now or in the future, and who you are now will define, however, how your children will behave in the future, because they see the behavior and they see how you behave because of some within a relationship with their mother, and ultimately that's their mother. I mean, they can't deny that, and you can deny them that either. And simply being aggressive and showing that hitting walls and punching stuff is the go-to solution for handling conflict is most definitely not going to help them develop healthy ways to resolve conflict in the future. So I would advise you to get therapy. You should have gotten it together with your ex-wife, to go to counseling together if that was an option that you think would have helped you. But if not, you should have gone yourself so you could step up as a father for your children. And yeah, that's what I believe. um they've heard me scream loud enough. I'm surprised I haven't burst a vessel. They know exactly who their mother is, and they know exactly who I am because we don't keep secrets in this house. You see, sometimes maybe you should. I mean, you should and you shouldn't. Some things, there are some things children don't need to see. They don't need to see you shouting at each other, you and their mother. They don't need this type of unstable environment to live in, and live in fear of how you're going to behave, or how what is their mother going to do next, what is going to be the next bad thing that she does, and so on. The kids refused to go with her, storm or no storm. They stayed. She hasn't come back. I don't know where she went. I hope she's safe. I hope she gets her own place. The kids can see her whenever they want, however often they want. Okay, so the kids live with you, I suppose, and that's maybe why she stayed. That's their mom. That's their call. My 16-year-old son is starting to talk to me again. My 19-year-old daughter has been at work all day. We've barely overlapped. I'll talk to her when there's time. Maybe it's just me, but in all of this, you seem quite passive, and I don't blame you really, because it's hard enough to deal with your wife, I suppose, and it's hard enough to deal with those feelings of resentment that have been building for years, probably, and possibly you haven't handled them yet. But I think you should look into having more conversation with your children, because it seems like they're avoiding, you know, a conversation with you. I mean, your daughter seems to be working all day, as you said, and that's probably more than she usually works. Um, maybe it's just me. Maybe, but let's see. I feel relieved, not happy, relieved. Like, yes, I can stop walking on eggshells in my own house. I've been telling her for years to save her money and get a place. She never did. Well, um, it's not enough to just tell her. I mean, the thing is, if you wanted this to happen, you would have made it so that she would have to live separately. Again, you don't seem to be taking full accountability of how your lack of boundaries has uh, brought you to this point. Because again, it's not. I don't think it's her fault for her mistakes, but it's also your fault for letting it get this far and letting it affect your children's lives, okay, and the way they perceive you. I don't want her back. I just want to be heard. Well, okay, we've heard you, but guys, we have an update. Do you want to read it together? Let's go. The update. uh where she went that night? That's a good question. During the storm, I still don't actually know. She refuses to tell me or the kids. That's not nice. Maybe she went to buy drugs. My best guess is she slept in the car and figured it out the next morning. She's alive, she's okay. That's what matters. To the people who are worried about her safety that night, I hear you. I was worried too once the adrenaline wore off. But she wouldn't tell me, and at this point, that's her right. Well, fair point, I guess, but I don't know. This whole seems the whole dynamic seems toxic to me. I mean, she seems like she's prideful or whatever, and she's not thinking about her children either, because obviously her children would feel some type of way, because it's she's their mother, and sh they most definitely, even if they are angry with her for what is happening and what has happened, they definitely care for their mother. And if god forbid something did happen to her, probably those words that have come out, if they fought with their mother, the last words that have come out of their mouths probably would have haunted them for their lives if something happened to her. So there is that. Where she is now, this part is wild. What part of her isn't wild? I would be surprised if there was something stable that she she had been doing, but this is on brand for her. She ended up moving in temporarily with my mother's friend. I have no idea how that happened, and now my mom and her friend are arguing because the friend thinks my mom should be getting on to me for not giving Kayla anywhere to go. Like, this is somehow okay. No, no, you don't owe her that. You already instructed her. Well, you should have pushed more from the very beginning, from when the divorce happened. You should have pushed more for her to get her own place, because it is hard to get a place by yourself, especially with rents and being so high. But tough, you're an adult. I mean, what can I tell you? You should be able to find a solution to that, and there are so many platforms that help you find accommodation, and there are shelters as well, okay, if you need for a few nights or whatever. So it's not like she would be completely on the street or whatever. So side eye to that best friend of your mother. um let me find the oh, I forgot where I was reading. I have no idea how that happened, and now my mom and her friend are arguing because the friend thinks my mom should be getting on to me for not giving Kayla any other. We have a name, Kayla, okay. And so far I don't think we mentioned her name once. uh like, this is somehow my fault. I'm a grown man divorced over a year, and apparently I'm still supposed to be housing the woman who cheated on me. Make it make sense. That is crazy. Okay, no, no, you're not supposed to do anything. She should have moved out from that point. But I think that you should have agreed on this, beforehand, when the divorce was being finalized. You should have agreed to move out on a plan of visitation for the children or whatever, and just kind of have boundaries on what is allowed, what is not allowed. Okay, and I'm going to stand my point on that, because I think that you need to work on your boundaries with people in general, and you also need to work on those anger issues, because it's not okay. No matter what happened, it's not okay for your children to see that. Okay. She has come back to the house a few times, only to see the kids and grab more of her stuff. No fights. Well, that's good. The last thing those kids need is to see more fights between all of you. I told her from day one she can take whatever she wants. The house is mine, and that's the only line. I've actually been helping. I've started cleaning up and gathering her things into one spot, so it's easy for her to load up when she comes by. Well, that's nice from you, from your end. The kids. My 19-year-old daughter was mad at first. We've talked since. She gets it. We all ate dinner together the other night and it was good. Actually good, not performative good. Well, I bet that felt different for the kids, and that's actually nice. I'm so glad to hear that little by little things are getting back on track. You know, my 16-year-old son has turned into a different person in 3 days. He's washing his own clothes, cleaning up after himself without being asked. I don't know what flipped in his head, but I'm not going to question it. He works after school for my mom at the restaurant and spends his own money on what he wants. He's doing fine. Uh, I think you should be getting a little bit, well, not worried, but I mean, these sudden changes in, in routine and whatever. I think your son is quite performative, in that scenario because um, they he needs probably to feel safe again, and maybe finding these routines helps him feel safe. But I think that again, maybe you should get your children to also talk with a therapist, um, in order to unload their feelings and process, especially your son, since he is not yet 18 years old and hasn't fully developed. Okay. A lot of you said the kids need therapy. Maybe. I'm not ruling it out. I think they definitely need therapy. And I think you do need therapy as well. Okay. But I want to push back a little. My daughter is in college, has a part-time job making solid money, and is functional. Okay, no. Just because something is functional, just because a person is functional, doesn't mean that they are okay. All right. That means that they're just surviving. And I think we have started to kind of normalize this behavior to of and those expectations of just surviving and not actually giving a damn about feeling happy and making ourselves feel happy. And I think you need to check in with your kids first and kind of assess the situation, assess how they are feeling, and how they are reacting to the whole situation, not just in front of you but also in front of others if possible. um, my son is 16, employed at 16. That's really nice, but not isn't it a little bit too early to be employed, responsible, and just started acting like an adult unprompted? Again, I'm saying this could be a response to everything that has been happening, to the divorce, to I would try to talk to him a little bit. If they want therapy, I'll pay for it. You see, also this is a great point to make. They don't have to want therapy. Okay, most people do not want therapy. Most people fear therapy actually, because what if they think, what if people judge me? What if people say start saying I'm crazy or I'm deficient, or what if the person, the therapist, by opening up myself to someone, I need to be vulnerable, and maybe I'll get hurt. Those are all valid fears, but if we let fears control the narrative of our lives, I don't think that's okay, and you should be teaching your kids that. And I think those your kids and you yourself need, all of you, therapy. Maybe a group session could help. I'm sorry, multiple sessions, but you know what I'm trying to say here. um y- you say, but I'm not going to force them into a chair to talk about feelings they are already processing in front of me at the dinner table. Again, I'm saying they might try to put on a mask with you at the table and secretly process their feelings in different ways, and this is why therapy works, individual therapy works, because the therapist acts like a safe place for them to unload in a healthy way, that doesn't involve you, you know especially because you have had a history of being a little bit aggressive, and seeing your anger and whatever. Maybe I'm just reaching here, but I think they you should consider, truly consider this. I feel about you. I feel lighter, peaceful, even. I've started listening to music again. I'd forgotten how much I used to love that. I'd forgotten a lot of the things I used to like, honestly. It's like I'm meeting myself again, and that's a beautiful feeling, isn't it? To find yourself again after such an experience. I think your inner child maybe is surfacing a little bit, and it's beautiful to find your inner child, and to find those things that make you happy within your life, and little by little rebuilding your life. I'm proud of you for that. Okay. I'm sleeping well. The house is quiet in a way it hasn't been in years. But yeah, the loneliness is there too. There's no one to tell my day to. I'm not out hunting for another woman. That's not where my head is at, and that's fine. I mean, you have been together for 10 years with this person, okay, and 11 if we are considering also the 1 year that you've been living together before you kicked her out. Um, I think it's okay to take a little bit of time to figure your life out. Make sure that after all of this, um, the aftermath doesn't affect your children and doesn't affect you. And when you do, you may want to find someone else. Do it from a place of, okay, I'm ready to meet other people again. I'm ready to share my life with someone else again, and yeah, be open about these type of things. Um, uh, but I can feel the empty seat across from me, and that's relatable. And I think every single person in the comments could relate to this feeling. But it will pass. I mean, you're going to start appreciating life more and more, um, by appreciating yourself first, and finding who you are, and carving those boundaries that have been pushed up until this point. My aunt thinks I'm having a midlife crisis, and this does she even know what a midlife crisis is? God, I'm sorry. I was about to be really rude about that aunt. that aunt, maybe she's projecting, because she might be the one to have a midlife crisis. She'll get over it, or she won't. I'm done shaping my life around what other people think I should be doing. Thank God. Thank God. Okay, you finally reached the conclusion that you should have. You don't have to let other people dictate your worth, and dictate your actions, and dictate what you should be putting up or not putting up with. You know? That's the update. Thanks for everyone who commented on the original, even the people calling me an a-hole. Okay, you are heard. That's all I really wanted from this in the first place. Well, I'm glad that you got to unload, and there doesn't seem to be more updates about this story. At least not yet. This is a pretty recent story, so if there's going to be updates, I'm going to try and post as soon as possible. Okay. for you guys, I'm so happy that you stay. For those who stayed until the end, I'm so happy that you are still here and you have watched me ramble and read this story together with you. Tell me in the comments, what did you think about the story? Do you think that he handled the divorce well? What would you have done in his place if you were in that situation? You can also share with us, similar stories if you have them. We are going to take them into consideration for, for future videos, and also it will help us build a community here, where we would always feel like we are, we are not alone in our endeavors. And of course, if you want to see more live inspections, don't forget to subscribe and get notified, to receive notifications for my future videos. For now, bye bye.